Okay, welcome to Distinction Learning Platform. And in today's video, we are going to look at definite integral. Okay, so before we can start, there is a link in the description. Make sure you click on the link, and the link will take you to the website where you'll find educational videos, past papers, as well as the notes. Okay, we can start. Great. So we'll look at definite integral, and we'll start by answering some examination questions. So the first one is okay, from it came in 2025, which is grade 12 internal ECZ, and the second one it came from 2024 ECZ as well. Great. So now, when we talk about a definite integral, okay? So a definite integral is a type of integral such that, it has an expression of the form. We have, this is our A, this is B, and we have some function, okay? Say, f of x with respect to what? To x, and this is the same as okay, we're talking about f of a minus f of what? This is f of b minus f of what? F of a. So a definite integral, it has got limits, okay, where the first one, this is what we call the lower limit, and the second one, which is b, this is what we call the upper limit. Okay, since we looked at indefinite integral, okay, I must say everyone knows how to integrate. If say suppose you do not know how to integrate, look for a video, okay, where I looked at indefinite integral and I had explained how to integrate a given integral. So great. So how do we evaluate this? Okay, and it has got good marks, 3 marks, 3 free marks. Okay, great. So I'll start by integrating, where I'm going to have, okay, so the integral from -3 to 1 x to the power 2 minus 5x plus 2 with respect to x, this is nothing but equal to, so here I'm going to have x. Remember, you have to do what? The power, it increases by 1, and whatever over that you are going to get, if you divide, we did that in the previous video. So here what are we going to have? 2 plus 1, that is 3. We are going to divide by the same, the over power, which is a 3, minus 5. This x, it has got some invisible power, which is 1, like that. So what happens? The power should increase by 1. We are going to add plus 1, where we get a what? A 2. And whatever overall power that we get, we are supposed to divide like that. Great. Here we have a 2, okay? So this 2, it has got, we know to say some, variable x and some invisible, power, which is 0, because we know that x to the power 0, the answer is what? It's just 1, and 2 by 1, it's just 2. So here we have 0 plus 1 divided by 0 plus 1, and we are going to have what? 2x, okay? 0 plus 1 is just 1, like that, and there we have a 1, and basically we just get what? 2x. So integrating a constant is as good as just adding a variable, which is x, like that. Great. So I'm adding x. Look at this. This is a definite integral which has got limits. Therefore, we can't say plus c. Why? Because we have got the what? The limits. So I'm going to write my limits like this: -3, to 1, like that. Therefore, 3 in 6 divided by 3, I'm going to get a 2x raised to the power 3 minus 5 out of 2, and my x to the power 2, like that, okay, plus a 2x. Okay, once I reach on this part, since I've got the limits, I'm going to apply the formula to say upper limit, okay, minus lower limit, like that. Okay, so what does this mean? So this basically means that, okay, so this basically means that this is my function, isn't it? I will have integrated. Okay, so when I say upper limit minus lower limit, this means, okay, look how I'm doing it, minus, okay, like that. So this means my upper limit is the one that is on top, which is 1. So I'll substitute in my function. Wherever there is x, I'll put what? 1. Similarly, as for the lower limit, wherever there is x, I shall put what? A negative 3. Let's go. So what am I going to have? 2. Where there is x there, I can put a what? A 1, everything to the power 3, minus a 5 out of 2. Wherever there is x, I'm putting what? A 1, like that. Okay, plus 2, wherever there is x, I'm putting a 1. Minus, this is a minus. From where? From the formula. Okay, next, what happens? So I'm supposed to now be substituting the lower limit, which is a negative 3. Like that. So I'm going to have 2, wherever there is x, I'll put negative 3. Everything to the power what? 3. Minus 5 out of 2. Wherever there is x, I'll put negative 3 raised to the power 2, like that. Then plus a 2, wherever there is x, I'll put negative 3. Okay, let's go. So I've substituted both the upper limit, which is 1, and the lower limit in this case, scenario, which is negative 3. Okay, now I can work out. So I know to say 1 raised to the power 3 is just 1, because I'm multiplying the 1s 3 times. I'll get 1. 2 by 1 is just 2, minus 5 out of 2, like that. Great. Then plus, okay, I know 1 to the power 2 is 1. 5 times 1, that is 5 out of 2, which is this, isn't it? 2 multiplied by 1, that is just a 2, minus, I know this is 2, negative 3 to the power 3, this is as good as negative 3 multiplied by negative 3, how many? 3 times. Negative times negative, positive. Multiplied by negative, that is a negative. So I'm going to have a what? A negative 20 what? 27. Why? Because I know to say 3 times 3, that is 9, by 3, that is 27. Great. Minus, 5 out of 2. Negative 3 to the power 2, we know it is 9. How? Because I'm multiplying negative 3, how many? 2 times, like that. Negative times negative, that is a what? A positive. 3 by 3, that is a 9. That's why I'm getting a 9. Okay, great. Negative, 2, that is negative 3 multiplied by 2, that is also, a negative 6, like that. So when you reach here, okay, without even wasting much of your time, okay, since this is paper 2, they say you're supposed to use a calculator. If you want, you can just evaluate without what, using a calculator. But one thing you're supposed to remember is that, you are in an exam and you don't want to waste much of your time. So the best thing that you can do, you can, use a calculator like that. Okay, great. So we don't want to waste time. We use a calculator. I can just be using my, Blangat Medulla. So 2 plus 2, we know it is 4. So what am I going to get? 4 minus 5 over 2, like that, minus here. 2, multiplied by negative 27, I'm going to get negative 50 what? 54, like that. So this is, 5, and I have a what? A 9. So if I multiply 5 by 9, I'm going to get what? A 45. So there's a negative, that is negative what? 45 divided by 2. Then there's a what? A minus what? 6. Okay? So if you want to use your, your Blangat Medulla, you can just say, okay, here over 1, there over 1, like that. Okay? And then what are you going to get there over 1? What happens? Here the denominator is 2. 1 into 2 is 2. 2 multiplied by 4, that is 8, minus 2 into 2, that is 1, 1 by 5, that is 5. Minus, okay, common denominator is 2, 1 into 2, that is just 2, then 2 multiplied by which one? 50 what? 54. What are you going to get? That is negative. Remember there's negative there, you have negative 108. Like that, isn't it? Okay, great. Next, 2 into 2, that is 1. 1 by that is 45. Minus 1 into 2, that is 2. 2 by 6, that is 12. Okay. Then 8 minus 3, that is 3 out of 2, like that. Minus. So all these are the negatives, okay? So same signs you add and maintain the sign which is common. So we are maintaining the sign which is negative. The signs are the same. What are we supposed to do? We add. So we are going to say 108 plus a 45 plus a 12, like that. What are we going to get? We are getting 160 what? 65 out of what? 2. Therefore, we have 3 out of 2 minus negative times negative, that's a positive 165 out of 2. Remember, the denominators are the same, so we can just add the numerator. So 165, plus a 3, we are getting 168 out of 2, like that. Therefore, we can divide this number by 2. So 2 into 16, what is the answer? That is what? 8. 2 into 8, that is 4. So here our answer is 84. Okay. Great. Others, they would say unit C, whatever. That is if, say, suppose you are finding the area. Yes, good. So the answer is what? 84. Great. So this is how you can be able to find evaluate this expression. Let us look at the second one. Okay? Hopefully you are following. Great. Let's look at the second one. Look at the second one. Okay? Look at the second one. Okay? Okay. So here I must assume by now we all know how to integrate. We are going to have 4x. 3 plus 1, that is 4, divided the power, which is 4, minus 3x to the power what? 2 plus 1, that is 3, out of what? 3 plus here, when you are integrating a constant, is as good as just adding the variable, which is x, like that. So we can't say plus c because we are dealing with a definite integral. We can write down the limits. We have 1 up to 3. 4 in there, we are going to have x raised to the power 4 minus 3 into 3. This we are going to run it x to the power 3 plus a 2x. 1 up to what? 3. Remember the formula? Upper what? Upper limit. Okay? Minus the what? The lower limit. Like that. Therefore, minus. Don't forget the minus. Okay. Great. So now we can substitute, okay? Whatever there is x, we can put the upper limit. In this case is 3. So I'll say 3, everything raised to the power 4, minus, we can say 3, everything raised to the power 3, plus 2, wherever there is x, we can put 3. Okay, minus, we are now on the lower limit. We can substitute 1 now, okay? So we're going to have 1, everything to the power 4, minus a 1, everything to the power 3, plus a 2, whatever there is, that, we put 1 like that. Let's go. So what are we going to do? What? To get 3 raised to the power 4 is as good as multiplying 3 is how many? 4 times. We'll get 81. If I'm not mistaken. 81. Okay? Because we are multiplying 3 multiplied by 3 times, multiplied by 3. Which is 81, minus 3 to the power 3, that is 27. 2 plus, 2 multiplied by 3, that is 6, okay, minus 1 raised to the power 4, that is just 1, minus 1 to the power 3, that is just 1, plus 2 times 1, that is just a what? A 2, like that. Great. Interesting. Okay? Interesting. Okay? Interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. Okay? Great. Then, so we have, 81. You just use your calculator. If you want, you can use your mind. Okay? Minus 20 what? 27, that is 54, plus 6, that is 60. So we have 60 there, minus, what else? We have, okay, 1 minus 1, that is just 0. Then we have a 2. So, what are we going to have? We are going to have a 2 there, then this is 60, negative times that is negative 2, and basically you should be able to get a 50 what? 58 as your answer. And they'll give you what? 3 good marks. Okay, so thank you so very much for your attention, and most important, don't forget to invite more of your friends, tell them about this platform, okay, which will help you to secure your future. Don't forget to click rather on the the link in the description, and you should be able to find educational videos, notes, past papers. Okay, thank you.